Welcome back to this verse-by-verse study on the book of 1 Peter. Such a great book. The Apostle Peter, an amazing person that God used to spread the gospel to so many people, wrote this book probably in the 60s AD, after most of the Pauline epistles had been written, but we really don't know the exact date. Peter was thought to have been crucified around 66 AD in Rome in the persecution of Nero. So it must have been sometime before that. He wrote it to the churches in Central and Northern Asia Minor, Bithynia, Asia, Pontus, Cappadocia, and Galatia. So this is a pretty broad area. It's a pretty rural area. And it seemed to have a pretty large Jewish population. The inference is that they were undergoing some level of persecution and some suffering for their actions, both good and bad. So some were righteous and some weren't. They appear to be pretty immature believers. So Peter mixes up trying to encourage them and love them versus instructing them on the basis of the Christian life. We're in a section in chapter 3 talking about the Christian life. Last verse in verse 8, we talked about a mindset towards other believers of love and mercy and good thoughts towards them. Peter continues this in verse 9 today, basically saying, don't pay back and don't take revenge, either verbally or in action. And actually uses the word loidorian, which Christ in chapter 2 was used of Christ, who didn't pay back when he was reviled by the people. So saying don't pay back evil for evil, those reviling you for reviling, but a blessing to do good to others, do good to all men. This is put in context, and this is important, that we're to remember to what we've been called. Otherwise, God has called us to a holy life. Just like it says in 1 Peter 1:16, that we're to be holy as God is holy. So knowing this, we're to keep that in mind and to realize also that He has blessed us with eternal life. So as we face troubles here on earth, and we're tempted to respond in a negative way towards people who are perhaps unbelievers and really are limited in their ability to control themselves, and realize that we have a testimony, and realizing the mercy that God has had on us. All these things, we are to respond our best to bless other people. As it says in Romans 12, that we are to live with peace with other people as best as we can. Sometimes it's just not possible, but that should be our intent. So the things that we say, and this is important, the things that we say and our actions are done with the purpose in mind for their need. And their need is what God would have for them. Otherwise, to know the gospel, or to be encouraged, or to be taught. So our speech and our actions are reflect God's goals and not our own. Our speech is there for that person who's listening, and our speech is there for God. So, great verse, instructive, tells us not to take revenge, but the best we can to bless other people, knowing that we've been called to holiness and being God's representative on earth, and that we've had mercy placed upon us by God, and we have an eternal life through faith in Jesus Christ and His sacrifice on the cross and His resurrection, and thus we should reflect that mercy also to other people. Thanks for joining me today. We'll continue this discussion on the Christian life next time. Please join me then.